All right. Hey. Welcome. Hey, I'm Brother Brian Johnson, and I got my buddy called Larry. You see us once a month here on the Insurance Forum discussing topics that affect you and I in order to educate us and elevate us to focus on risk assessment, risk management. And that's what it's all about. Good morning, Larry. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing great today. It's beautiful in the neighborhood. I love this weather. Not too cold, not too warm. Got a little breeze. I tell you, I love it.
That's I love like Lionel Richie says, easy as Sunday morning. It's
That's right.
beautiful. It's beautiful. And you gotta love it. Hey, we want to talk about what's going on in our community, Larry. I know that first you've had firsthand experience what in reference to what I'm going to present dealing with Hurricane Ian. Hurricane Ian it took
Mm-hmm.
place right a few blocks from us in Florida.
Yeah.
It was only yesterday that you experienced it. You and your family had to evacuate from New Orleans on such short notice.
Right.
And Hurricane Ian, it devastated Florida. And through that devastation, we possibly may see a lot of changes when it comes to insurance because now the federal government decided to, hey, we need to reevaluate this thing that people have been narrating the climate change
Yes.
because it's affecting everybody. And Larry, I got to ask you a personal question. When you saw Hurricane Ian devastate Florida, did it bring back any thoughts for you?
You know what? It always does. I mean, it always does, especially, when I see the people, they're in distress. The people have no power. People losing their vehicles, losing their property. And it just seems like it's hopeless. Those emotions definitely rise back up in myself as well as my family. Yes.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. It's all about family.
Mhm.
God, faith, family. Property can be replaced eventually. It may take a little while, but it can be replaced. But we're starting to see, Larry, that some of the insurers, no, the insurance companies, they're going out of business. I
Yeah.
think just as of what, maybe last month in Louisiana, three insurance carriers went out of business.
Hmm.
In Florida, five insurance carriers went out of business. And it puts us in a situation where if a person does not have insurance, it becomes extremely tragic.
Right.
And the
Right.
question is, what do we do? What can we do?
Well, there's an old saying, a mentor in insurance told me, he say, look, insurance is worthless until you need it, and then it's priceless.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of insurance companies that are going belly up. I mean, and it's all due to Mother Nature. We call it in the insurance industry the act of God, if you please. And these storms are becoming more and more. They're more damaging, and it's not only that they're more damaging. We have a lot more stuff now as people,
Mhm.
and a lot of expensive stuff, expensive homes, expensive cars, technology. We have all of these towers. The municipalities have all of this technology as well, and is getting damaged by these storms.
Yeah. So, Larry, let's break down to the people. What type of insurance do you provide for the community?
Well, we've been helping the community here lately with life insurance and financial services. That regards to term life, whole life, universal life, annuities, disability income, so on and so forth. Also supplemental health products. But we just now start going back on the PNC side, which consists of property as well as car insurance, workers' compensation, and so on. So we can definitely help anyone from all spectrums and all lines of business.
Okay, so you're talking about on the personal lines, commercial, like what?
Very good question. We started out on the commercial side back in July, but we've been kind of entertaining the personal line side. There's one company that I have right now, and we actually working on a few more. But I've been writing a few car insurance policies, just kind of filling it out a little bit. And we kind of like what we see. We like the ratio. and so on. So we're going to make an announcement that here soon we're going to be doing car insurance.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's my
Absolutely.
buddy Larry. So, hey, he puts advertisements constantly. He's putting it out there. He's actually engaged. A lovely family. He's definitely community oriented. So reach out to him. Give him a call. 318-512-2242. Larry,
Absolutely.
let's talk about insurance in general but more so on the commercial side.
Okay.
Because all of us, anything that we attempt to endeavor in, it takes a revenue stream.
Yes.
And if we are self-employed, we have to establish our business and develop a revenue stream. So dealing with the statistics, according to the Small Business Administration, they're indicating that within the first 2 years, over 50% of businesses fail. Now, I don't like to look at the word fail as a negative word, but it does carry a negative connotation. So I
Right.
look at the word fail as an acronym, FAIL. It's the first
Right.
attempt in learning.
Uh-huh.
But according to the numbers, anytime we want our community to grow, to flourish, to be resilient, it's going to take a revenue stream. So we're going to talk about business. What type of insurance do you offer specifically that can help a business in order to build its infrastructure or to maintain for a period of time?
Very good. So we're offering commercial property. We're also offering something that's called a BOP policy. The BOP policy is a mixture of commercial property contents as well as general liability. That means if anyone slip and fall, hurt themselves on your premises, and they were to sue you, the insurance company will intercept that up to a certain amount or limits that you choose. But inside of this BOP policy, there's also a few more bells and whistles. There's something called business income or business interruption. Also, there's insurance on your account receivables, your money, if you please. So in this particular policy, it's great for business owners because it's not just covering your infrastructure, it's not just covering your liability, but it's also covering the things that's helping your business to keep going. So let's say if they are fixing on the road in front of your business, that's called a business interruption in a sense, because now your clients, your patrons, they cannot get to your business because the road is now blocked. So now you can reach out to your insurer and say, hey, I'm used to making $10,000 a day. I only made $2,000. That extra $8,000 that you lost, you can get that back from your insurer because your business has been interrupted.
Interesting. Now you said BOP, B-O-B-O-P, right?
BOP, business owners policy.
Okay. All right. Business owner. Well, that's pretty powerful because in my mind that happens on a regular basis, whether it's infrastructure redevelopment. That it's a possibility. I've had that happen a few times, even at my little small location. So I need to look into that myself.
Absolutely.
And of course, you definitely focus on the assurance of a individual's life as well as individuals in the company talking about life insurance. Is that fair to say?
That is correct as well. I mean, we help individuals with life insurance on a personal level, which means their beneficiary will be their wife and their kids or what have you. But we also help individuals on a business level, meaning your beneficiary can be the business, or it can be your partner. So if something were to happen to you, the business keeps going, whether you're there or not. So you're right, we help on the business level as well as the personal level.
Okay, all right. Well, let's break this down because I'm in the insurance and the bonding business as well. One of the main questions that I always receive from individuals, they inquire about how much insurance should a person uh, obtain, and that's I'm not gonna say it's a tough question, but it takes time to sit down with the individual, find out, and establish their needs. So it's not a cookie cutter approach. What is your approach when someone presents that question to you? I'm sitting down with you, Larry, how much insurance should I acquire?
Yeah, so in the industry, we typically say 7 times the person's income, annual income. or 5 to 7 years. Some people go as far as 10 years, because the fact of the matter is, if I'm making $50,000 a year and I only get $100,000 of life insurance on me, guess what? That can be exhausted so fast, and my family is back where they were without me. One thing I learned, Brian, is that we can't replace a person's life if they die, but we can replace their income through life insurance. So we tell, especially the breadwinner, the husband, and of course, we're living in the 21st century. We have the wives of breadwinners even more these days, and hey, thank God, but we tell the parents, we tell the husband and wife to make sure that you get at least 7 to 10 times your income, so you can help your family, for 7 years or 10 years after you're gone. Let me just say one other thing. Or you can look at it in a sense, how old is your youngest child? And how long would it take for that youngest child to become an adult or go to college and things of that nature? Yes.
Okay, okay. All right, that makes sense. So pretty much I answered the exact very similar way. I just asked them, what do you believe your obligation is? Is it just for the next 90 days? And if you're not here, what is your obligation for the next year, 3 years, 4 years? I'll allow them to answer that. And once they answer that, and then we just go from there. And then I look at currently in the household, does it take two incomes? Mm-hmm. Or is it that it's only your income as the male? If so, if you're not here, what's going to happen the day after you transition?
Right.
And so, yeah, we got to look at real life questions. It's a sensitive conversation, but it's a much needed conversation to take place in our community, because life insurance, just like take the auto mechanic. The auto mechanic has tools, and also take like any other industry. The lawyers have jurisprudence. They have law books. These are tools to help them become effective in their communities.
Right.
Same thing with us as individuals in our communities. Life insurance is just a financial tool to continue the future generation or to leave a legacy. Nothing more than that. We don't want to go too deep into it, but just saying, hey, it's available. Or do you have the necessary tools for your legacy to continue?
Very good.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I like the way you take it, Brian, and you put it back in their court. You let them choose. Of course, you give them knowledge, you give them the facts as being the professional, but you allow them to make the decision. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And same thing, a lot of people ask me, well, what is a bond? A bond comes in many forms. There are many types of bonds. There are construction bonds, there are court bonds, there are criminal bonds. People may know I first started my career in the bail bond business. Mm-hmm. So the difference is an insurance policy is a two-party contract. Mm-hmm. So like me, I have insurance on my vehicle, so I can go directly to the insurance company and get insurance, acquire insurance. A bond is a three-party. Okay. And it's usually required from a governmental entity or individual. Say like I have a friend that's a general contractor. He comes to your home, you want to hire this person to install a new roof on your home. Uh-huh. Require insurance and a bond. Why? In order to protect you, because it's not the insurance company. So you want to make sure the general contractor fulfills that obligation. In the event, if they do not fulfill that obligation, you can file a claim under the bond itself. So all parties are protected. And as you say, it builds and establishes assurance for us to do business in our communities.
Absolutely. Wow.
And that's the difference between an insurance policy and a bond. And I provide insurance as well as bonds. Larry provides a plethora of insurance policies itself through through personal and commercial.
Very good, very good. It'd be great as the community knows that you do the insurance and the bonding, and I'm going to definitely tell my clients about that as well, because I'm not providing any type of bonding or anything like that. So we're definitely going to network in that arena. So would that be called a performance bond?
Yep.
Brian? A
Some are
performance.
performance bonds,
Mhm.
judicial bonds. Pretty much, I'm like you. I just I attempt to get away when it comes to a client, get away from the jargon, the
Yeah,
industry jargon. Just let them know, hey, what are we here to protect?
yeah, I like it.
And that's the main thing. I've
Mhm.
serviced the community for a period of time dealing with easy bail bonds, and it's been an honor and a pleasure. And because of that, it allowed me to grow and say, hey, my community needs additional insurance so they can have assurance as the community
I
attempts
like it.
to
I
grow.
like it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Brian, let's talk a little bit about these businesses. You may have seen. I sat back and watched, and I smiled. My dimples were showing in my face. I was smiling to see how many businesses opened during the pandemic. I mean, during a time where it was desolate. It was famine, it was sickness, it was a lot of debt going on, but you had other individuals rising up and starting businesses. And you know that you and I both, we looked over the article, and the article is basically saying that a lot of businesses actually don't last past the first or even second year. What are your thoughts about that, Brian?
Well, business is tough. Business is not easy. So I definitely understand that, and I know why. But I like to look at that article, and it did say businesses. Now, we're not talking about only small businesses, mom and pop, or sole proprietors. We're talking about all businesses, whether it's a private business or a
Mm-hmm.
governmental business. Most businesses fail within the first 1 to 2 years. It doesn't matter what
Wow.
type of business.
Wow.
Now, the article was indicating that yes, within the first 2 years, over 50% of businesses fail, and it can be for multiple of reasons. One, not proper planning. Two, the number one reason for any industry, any
Yeah.
business is being undercapitalized. And
Yeah.
that's good for even families. Any family, business, for-profit, nonprofit, if they're undercapitalized,
Yeah.
they do. We need a revenue stream. So we have to really focus on that. We have to really assert ourselves and understand
Mm-hmm.
that business is the number one competitive sport. We watch football, basketball, but being in business itself, that is the number one competitive sport.
It is. It is. That is absolutely true. One thing I thought about when I got into business, and I was actually talking to my wife and my kids about this too. I said, if you're going to start a business, you want to find something that people want or need. Also, you want to find a product that you can sell that people want to need, or you want to find something that you can service that people have, they want or need. So that's two things, in my opinion, when it comes to business. You have to have something that people want or need, but also you have to also have something, shall we say, a product or a service that people want or need. So,
You're exactly right. I agree with that because if you're selling hot dogs,
uh-huh.
I don't want to come set up a cart right next to you and sell hot dogs. I may want to help you by supplying you with ketchup,
Yeah,
mustard. I may want to complement the business.
that's
I don't
good. I
want to
like it.
directly compete with you. And so I think that's one of the things that takes place in our communities. We attempt to compete with someone directly instead of complementing what they're doing.
That's very good. That is very good.
Yeah, so we have a lot to grow. I mean, a lot to learn, and we can grow from what we do know and the people we know. We just have to understand business itself. Because I see a lot of churches in our community. Some churches
Yeah.
go out of business. So the number you mentioned, we're talking about churches, governmental bodies,
Mm-hmm.
proprietorship,
Yeah.
corporations. Yeah, if there's no proper planning, businesses will fail. It's only one or two ways you can go, up or down.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Did we
Mm.
miss anything we want to chat about? Because we definitely want to be informative to the community, inform them. We spoke earlier about insurance in general, how now the government is going to take an active participant part in attempting to understand this thing called climate change.
Yeah.
You inform the people about the personal lines or commercial lines,
Yeah.
assurance of having insurance. Oh, I do want to mention this. When it comes to individuals, when we saw the devastation of hurricanes,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, those hurricanes like that, they're usually the number one type of claim that is filed
Mm-hmm.
with wind and then flood. We need to understand wind insurance and also flood insurance
Insurance. Very
because
good.
homeowners insurance itself does not cover flood. And so we have to look into that.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Homeowners insurance does not cover any water that's coming from the outside. And in some instances, it don't cover if it's coming from the inside. Most of the time it does. But any water coming in from the outside is not covered. You have to get a flood insurance policy. And any property, any piece of land, I don't care if you're sitting on a hill, you can still flood.
that's right. Yeah. And if that person is way on top of that hill flood, oh, it's just terrible for me.
That's right. That's right. And hey, just in closing, like you said, with Florida and I guess in general and primarily, they are normally hit the most or first, especially the panhandle portion of it. And what's happening is, we get insurance to share our risk, and now the insurance companies, they're coming to us saying, hey, we're paying so much out in these claims. We want to share, we want you guys to share our risk by increasing your rates. That's why the insurance rates are beginning to